So, Thedy, you talk about something called relational neuro-narrative.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit, what is that about?
Yeah. So this is so a little background. So early in life, things happen, and our brain starts to take in information, starts creating some sort of map as to how the world is going to be, and we adapt to survive in that world. I call that the primitive narrative. Usually, that primitive narrative, because it's mostly driven by that fight or flight amygdala. I need to survive. I need to be safe. It's very negative. If older brother gets something and I don't get something, then you must love Johnny more than you love me. And if Mikey starts playing with Susie and not playing with me, then I must be dumb. This stuff is so pervasive. And so the relational neuro-narrative is an attempt for the parent to use a behavior, usually a bad behavior, and frame it, try to help the child understand where that behavior might come from. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say that the kid comes home with a black eye, got into a fight, maybe an 8-year-old. Most parents would go into attack mode. Why did you do this? You can't do that. You're grounded. The relational neuro-narrative would sound like this. Wow, you had a bad day today. You got in trouble. How was that for you? It's possible that you might be upset because we've been spending a lot of time with your younger sister. She's been having some medical problems. And if that's true, maybe you're angry or maybe you're sad. And that might have caused you to get into a fight. So as you can hear there's a lot of maybe, might have. And what you're doing there is that you're helping the child make sense of what just happened. Another way of saying that, you're trying to help the child make connections between thoughts, behaviors, and emotions instead of going into this correct mode. So there is a chapter that has been beautifully written by Dan Hughes in one of his books. It's called Connect Instead of Correct. And most parents go into correct mode. And right there, when you have a kid with a black eye, the most important thing, if you have the future in mind, is to help the child understand what happened. And to help the child process their own emotions behind that. Wow, you have a brown eye, a black eye. Maybe that was embarrassing. And what you want is for the child to talk to you. Yes, this happened and I was mad. A lot of children will freeze, will not talk, and then you can't really engage. So it's all about the relationship.
Yes, and I was thinking, that while you're giving these possibilities, this just resonates so much with the work I do as well, which it should, because it's natural and this is what human being. But it gives the opportunity for the child to then come in. So when you gave the initial sort of just example for us, the parent was doing all the talking, but I could hear in between those the child would jump in and say, "Oh no, it's not my little sister that's bothering the time with my little sister that's bothering me. It's the time you're spending with."
There you go.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
And it gives the child the opportunity to actually even correct the parent. If the parent is not saying, "I know what you've done and you're this," sort of like, "Hey, have I been doing this? Have you been doing that?" It's, curiosity. Well, everybody knows where I am with that.
And a lot of times, what happens, it's fascinating, is that when parents start to do this, parents that used to be very consequence-driven, and I would tell them, please just suspend the consequences until you understand my protocol, because you'll find out that you won't need it. The kids will put themselves in timeout.
Yeah, I've heard that.
They did wrong. So the shame is already there. And so what happens when you give them the consequence without helping them process, you have all these emotions that are kind of bottled up inside. And this is what these things accumulate. And eventually when they become teenagers, it comes out roaring, And then parents usually don't know where it came from. He was fine. He was excellent. When we start digging, he was never fine.
Well, if you want to know more about the science of psychotherapy, come across to our website, thescienceofpsychotherapy.com, and our podcast of the same name, and learn more about the science of you.